Okay, you're live. Okay.
All the way live.
All right then, Princess. I'm gonna let you go and get some stories ready for my show.
Okay.
All right. Have a good day.
So, I love you.
I love you more.
All right. Be good.
Okay. I have no choice these days. Bye. We'll try it again. Maybe that's why nothing's happening. Can you hear me now? Okay, so you're live.
It says you're live.
It says I'm live.
Yeah, you're back.
Now I'm back?
Yep.
All right. I wonder if the show never even started. So, well, just in case, we'll do this. Oh, no, we'll do this. That was the wrong one. Here's the right one.
Weedsday Wednesday, Tucson, Arizona.
That's really weird. So the first 10 minutes of the show weren't even going.
Your host, Belle Star.
And the Cannabis Kid. Our show features news, interviews, and all the latest information about anything.
I wish I could see who was on air. I know you are, but
and the world at large.
It doesn't tell me.
Give us a call live at 646-945-8421. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on all social media,
Weird.
or email dhctucson@gmail.com.
We'd like to thank the Weedsday Health Center and Studio C, along with our many sponsors, for hosting our show every week. With the lowest price certification in town, you'll find hemp products, accessories, and all things related to medical cannabis education.
Visit Tumbleweed Health Center at 4826 East Broadway Boulevard or online at tumbleweedhealthcenter.com. And remember,
Be smart
be safe
and educate.
All right, folks. Well, we're going to start the show again and see how it works. Welcome to Weedsday Wednesday, everybody. We even did the drum roll for how many days until Christmas? 260 days until Christmas, Silver Sister. Get your together. Where is it? Where's our air horn? Get it together. All right. Welcome back to Weedsday Wednesday. We're having a do-over because the show didn't want to go live for some reason. All right. Oh, we'll see what happened. For the chairs, put that in our account. And there's 2 left. So we each get one. Yeah. Because I didn't want him to take all 2 or all 12. I was like, I should go grab 2. And then he was going through them, and there's 2 that weren't like perfect. So he left them behind.
We're only 12.
Yeah.
I felt like there were.
A million more.
Yes.
Yeah. I did too. I thought there were more, but maybe there are not. All right. Welcome to Weedsday Wednesday, kids. We're going to just have a do-over and start the show all over again. I know it. God, it sucks not doing bong hits for the show. It really does. But someday I'll get to, I don't know if I'll ever get to smoke weed again. I just don't know. I'm being grumpy these days about things I can't do anymore.
Don't be grumpy.
Oh, I can. I'm a human being. I have the ability, and it's my human right. Oh, sorry. Silver Sisters Week to be grumpy, not mine. Sorry. Go back to being grumpy. Did run into a Bills fan though.
Oh yeah. I had
Go Bills.
my Bills sweatshirt on delivering the other day. And everybody, go Bills, go Bills, go Bills.
Oh, did they all realize
great.
that we got ripped off last time? So
Like, oh, Bills fan, I love it.
yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that song. All right. Let's see. What were we going to do? Oh, we were going to talk about there's an Arizona dispensary that launches 420 acts of kindness campaign for 420. So let's see if they can get kind about maybe giving some discounts to people in the industry. I do not like these. I liked my other ones, but I don't like the flavor of these edibles, these Wana things. They're just gross. It's too much sugar, and they work, but I was having this is my week of crazy dreams. I don't know what's going on, but Giving Tree Dispensary is reimagining the cannabis holiday 420 by turning it into something bigger, bolder, and more meaningful. Introducing 420 Acts of Kindness, a heartfelt initiative aimed at making 420 a movement, not just a moment. From March 11th to April 20th, 2025, Giving Tree Dispensary in North Phoenix is hosting its 420 Acts of Kindness campaign, inviting team members and guests to collectively complete 420 acts of kindness by April 20th. The initiative, aimed at transforming 420 from a high-volume sales event to a celebration of compassion, well-being, and community connection, encourages everything from volunteering and donating to small gestures that brighten someone's day. As a locally owned small business, I know it. You can't even open the damn things. Giving Tree Dispense. See where it says press here? You have to press down, and then you have to get your fingernail inside the lip of this thing. Yeah. Ugh. It's just too. Yeah, I know. Look at the look on your face. Look at the look on mine. It's like, ugh. It's like taking medicine. Guys, it's supposed to be good. I think I'm going to stick with tinctures. Anywho. You're supposed to be nice for 420 days. Since legalization, 420 has become more about sales than community. We wanted to reclaim the day and turn it into something even more powerful, says Lilac Mazer Power, CEO of Giving Tree Dispensary. Kindness is contagious. If we can inspire others to spread positivity in their community, we've done something truly special. Hi, Scout. Through social media, in-store displays, collaborations with local charities, and giveaways, Giving Tree is inviting everyone to participate and share their own acts of kindness, because when kindness spreads, everyone wins. I had a different... Yeah, we've been kind for too long. It's over. Our kindness is over. Just get over it. Just kidding, guys. For more information about 420 Acts of Kindness and how you can get involved, visit givingtreedispensary.com or follow them, not us, follow them on social media at GivingTreeAZ, because kindness is worth celebrating every single day. Do it. Be kind. Just do it. All right, let's see what's going on in the world of weed. There are a lot of things out there today happening in weed. Let's see. Stakeholders say Patagonia's first hemp harvest is a chance for economic transformation. Oh no, this again. I have reached my one free article limit on hemp today. So subscribe or log in. So see you guys. We're out. That's horrible. You can't even get news. Wow. But did you know that George Washington wrote reviews of early American inns when he wasn't busy running or winning the Revolutionary War and not telling lies? George Washington had a thoroughly modern pastime, reviewing American inns. The founding father penned a series of these assessments early in his presidency, a time when he swore not to accept invitations to stay in his fellow Americans' private residences while traveling. Yeah, probably because they were going to try and kill him. This was not because he didn't enjoy home cooked meals, but because he didn't want to incommode any private family, as he wrote in a 1791 letter, and also to avoid any appearance of political favoritism. This necessitated patronizing inns during two major trips, one to New England and one to the South, as he got to the lay of the land and greeted citizens who hoped he would think of him as a man of the people. Most of these accommodations, according to his extensive writings, were hardly five-star experiences. One he described as, quote, not a good house, quote, situated near an, quote, intolerable, quote, road, while at another, the entertainment was not very inviting. Conditions were especially dire in the rural South, where Washington wrote he failed to find, quote, a single house which has anything of elegant appearance. He fared better in Boston, where he noted a widow kept a very decent and good house, and found that Delaware's Buck Tavern was a better house than the appearances indicate. Despite being a founding father, the first U.S. president never had biological children of his own. He and Martha Washington were married for 40 years, and together they raised her two surviving children from her first marriage, John Parke Custis and Martha Parke Custis. Martha also had 4 grandchildren in addition to several nieces and nephews who came to live with the couple at Mount Vernon. 5 other presidents had no known biological children: James Madison, James Polk, Warren G. Harding, James Buchanan, and Andrew Jackson. There you have it. Oh my goodness. Well, that's okay. What one historian called the greatest single act of corporate espionage in history wasn't in search of stock market tips or coveted algorithm. It was about tea, which by 1800 was the most popular drink among the British. Something of a problem for the empire, as all tea was produced in China at the time. And so the English did something at once sinister and cunning. They sent a botanist to steal tea seeds and bring them to India, a British colony at the time. The thief in question was Robert Fortune, who was recruited by the East Indian Trading Company for the job. This leafy skullduggery inspired by aforementioned historian Sarah Rose to write for All the Tea in China, How England Stole the World's Favorite Drink and Changed History. The book details how Fortune not only came into possession of precious seeds, but also learned the tools of the trade, how tea leaves were cultivated, dried, processed, and manufactured. The plan succeeded, with India overtaking China as the world's largest tea producer within Fortune's lifetime. China eventually reclaimed the title, but it took more than a century, and India remains the second largest today. Neither China nor England drinks the most tea per capita, though both countries are synonymous with tea, China for growing it, England for consuming it. Neither drinks the most tea per capita. An astonishing 1.6 billion pounds are drunk in China each year, the most overall, but on a per capita basis, that isn't even enough to crack the top 15. Far ahead of either country is Turkey, which drinks 6.9 pounds of tea per person every year. A full 2 pounds more than number 2 on the list, Ireland, which is at 4.8 pounds per person. The United Kingdom comes in third at 4.2 pounds, with Russia at 3.05 pounds, and Morocco 2.6 pounds, rounding out the top 5. I wonder what our country drinks. This is a really hard, this is not letting me go through to any more of the articles. So I guess that's it, teetotalers. That's what you get. I wonder how many pounds of tea we drink a year. Okay, let's get back to a little more of weed. Coming from Leafly, we want to know, what are the strongest weed strains? Here you go, folks. Not that I get to enjoy any of them. Looking for one of the strongest weed strains to challenge your tolerance or ease stubborn medical lighting systems. A strain potency depends on a mix of factors, including how it was grown, its genetic lineage, and more. But we're here to highlight some of the most popular strong weed strains of 2025 that consistently bring the heat. While THC is the main driver of potency, it's important to understand how terpenes can enhance and shape a strain's high. Aromatic compounds like myrcene, caryophyllene, and limonene, my favorites, not only give cannabis its distinctive aroma, but when paired with high THC, they can deliver a more powerful and well-rounded experience. The strongest weed strains below are just a sampling of today's most buds about heavy hitter. Whether you're after euphoria, deep relaxation, or both, remember the classic advice: start low and go slow. And I knew it. First off, something I haven't even heard or tried. It's called Permanent Marker. Leafly strain of the year 2023, Permanent Marker, combines looks, gobs of smell and taste with an undeniable roundhouse to the cranium high. Hey, it's what we seek after a long day of fighting down Highway 101, trying to escape the valley. Seed Junkie Genetics of LA also made wedding cake and also does super strong strains. No dad weed here. Sorry. People get tingly, talkative, and accused on this, and aroused. Ooh, maybe accused of arousal on this party favorite. It's hard to go wrong with this at 420. Just drink lots of water and pace yourself out there. Okay. GMO cookies is number 2. Well, that's funny. GMO is our Leafly highlight of April 2024 and a go-to face kicker if that's your sort of thing. It can smell funky and skunky. Face kicker. Your limbic system goes on high alert for a poison of noxious chemical. But ew, it stinks so good. For an acquired taste, read all the GMO in the highlight. Motor breath comes in at number 3. Haven't heard of that one either. Motoring along onto a ton of menus without too much hype, motor breath is smoking them with a 26+% THC score on average. This might be more like more bike than you can handle. It's ChemDog and SFG OG, both of which can get you cooked. Users report diesel, pepper, chemical smells, and side effects may include an anxious dizziness and the fear. Well, now, why would you want that? Why would you want any anxious dizziness and fear? Alas, some of us like to ride shotgun with our old friend fear just to feel a little alive, I guess. Snow-till, no-till living soil in San Francisco has the motor breath dialed in. Number 4 coming in, runts. Isn't that a candy? That's a candy. There's no way you get to Leafly strain of the year 2020 without getting people faded. The Runts crew out of Long Beach, California promise as much as delivered with this gelato-based strain, except no watered-down fake runts. Ask to smell the bag and look for those sweet tree fruit berry notes. And finally, Khalifa Kush. Get at this refined type of OG Kush for the KK level high. Rapper Wiz Khalifa's brand is like, I got 90% THC. So their flower has to hit. It's testing at 21% on average with a lemon pine fuel smell and taste. Shop for Khalif Kush. Oh, there's Kush mints also. Oh, we're still going. Combining old school classic bubble kush and energetic animal mints. Kush mints is a THC powerhouse, 27%. This strain has increased in popularity as of late, likely due to its potency and complex minty flavor profile. If you're a cookies lover looking for a little something different, check out Kush mints. And then check out ice cream cake. Ice cream cake taps into the cookies and cakes craze in weed of the last few years, crossing wedding cake, Leafly's 2019 strain of the year, and gelato number 33, a phenotype of our 2018 strain of the year. ICC is a relaxing, sleepy strain that's great for nighttime. Its sweet, creamy flavor profile makes it accessible to a broad range of smokers. Just be sure you have a soft couch and some munchies close by. All right, next up is MAC, Miracle Alien Cookies. Short for Miracle Alien Cookies. MAC has some cookies and chem dog buried in its roots, giving it a complex flavor. MAC is a strong, uplifting strain with a smooth orange flavor and floral notes. It's so popular, related phenotype. MAC 1 is also out there, which is usually slightly less potent and more balanced in effects. Here's one, Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner, appropriately named after the Hulk's alter ego, is a heavy-duty hybrid with a staggering THC content powered by OG Kush and Strawberry Diesel genetics. Bruce Banner delivers a dizzying punch of euphoria that anchors your body in deep relaxation. Well, you know what anchors your body in deep relaxation? Yes, this. Scratching. Oh, he just locked you out. I did not do that.
I'm gonna smoke some weed. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm a hunting, looking for a pot shop. This is fucking awesome.
Walk into my house like, what up? I got some good pop. I'm just pumped up, got some herb from the pot shop. Ice in the fridge, it used to be frosty. My friends like, damn, this is stolen ass, don't care. Rolling in hella high, looking like it's FIFA time. Dominating all my friends as I eat some chili fries. Draped in the snowy with my girl sitting next to me. Probably shouldn't have had a big bowl full of iced tea.
Hi, Mama. I think it's the Banner.
But shit, it was 99 cents. I'll be blazing and smoking, about to go and get some munchies. Man, passing up on those cracker jacks. Reese's Pieces are where it's. I gotta get me some soda.
Losing sleep over this.
Giving up, but can't remember where I put my keys. Yeah, that's what's up. I'm gonna take your grandpa's ride.
I'm gonna take your grandpa's ride. No, for real. That's your grandpa. Can I take a 65?
The bill cruising to my local Publix. Nothing better than rolling with two secret projects. They have frozen burritos.
I bought frozen burritos.
I bought some Ben and Jerry's.
And then I bought some Cheetos.
Hello, my main man Obama. A couple states have just reformed their laws on marijuana. What you gonna do? Send the feds there? Hell no. The DPA's will be like,
oh, they got volcanoes.
I'm gonna smoke some weed. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm a hunting, looking for a pot shop. This is fucking awesome. I'm gonna smoke some weed. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm a hunting, looking for a pot shop. This is fucking awesome.
What you know about the science of marijuana?
what you know about people suffering from glaucoma?
They need it. They need it.
It helps them with their condition. If you don't believe me, then just ask some physicians. Thank your granddad for voting for that guy, Richard. Is the president who made the plants illegal. Science is showing that it's medicine for people, and the private schools fighting to keep all of that illegal. Alcohol and tobacco, pharmaceutical prisons. I'll take those 4 major lobby groups and fight those motherfuckers.
Dave and Buster's?
Day and night, all those motherfuckers. And private commerce out of sight, all those motherfuckers. They'd be like, oh, it's immoral and unhealthy.
Schedule got all mixed up.
Are you making what? It's a marijuana lobbies are making tons of profits, and they don't want you to stop. It's a problem, special shit. I call that getting swindled and shit. I call that getting tricked by the government. That law's hella old, so it's time to update it, regulate it, and then can't get it under strict control. Keep the game, look into my political telescope. Like this forever.
Not hella won't.
Not hella won't. Hey, grandma, stop being a hypocrite.
You smoke weed, fool.
I'm gonna smoke some weed. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm alone, looking for a price shop. This is fucking awesome. Let's end the war on drugs. It's time for overflow. These special interest groups are nothing more than overflow. Let's end the war on greed. The people have agreed. These special interest groups have been discovered. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm alone, looking for a price shop. This is fucking awesome.
Are chronic conditions holding you back from a happy, healthy life? Get on the right track with Tumbleweeds Health Center. Our CBD products are formulated to fit your health
Still
lifestyle.
number one.
I would definitely say that CBD has changed my life. I mean, I don't worry about my dog anymore, and I don't worry about sleeping anymore.
Tumbleweeds Health Center, voted #1 health center in Tucson, has created a proprietary number of CBD blends, each designed to promote health and well-being. Let Tumbleweeds Health Center show you how CBD products might help you improve your life the natural way.
Yep. Uh-oh. Oh, it worked. Well, that's good. It stopped. Alrighty then. Welcome back to Weedsday Wednesday, folks. Belle Star, Silver Sister, and Cannabis Kid is somewhere in the universe. We just don't have any idea where. Okay. So let's see here. What else is going on in the world of weed? Strongest strain. We are back to Leafly's strongest strains ever. Original glue, also known as GG4 or Gorilla Glue, is named for the stickiness of its resinous buds, and this strain certainly lives up to its name. Multiple Cannabis Cup awards back up the legend of Original Glue's potency, but we doubt you'll need the proof once you're stuck to the couch in stupefied contentment. Oh, stupefied contentment. That's an interesting word. All right. Welcome back to Weedsday Wednesday. Check out tumbleweedshealthcenter.com for all your information and education. Got some education. We got all sorts of stuff going on there. But hi, Charlie. If you want to know what you can get certified for, I'm going to tell you right now. Open hour, your boss must be just hovering over you as you're not here this morning. All right. If you have PTSD, and you have to have a note from your doctor within the last 12 months for that, cancer, glaucoma, AIDS, chronic pain, which covers migraines, fibromyalgia, arthritises, all the arthritises, DDD, you name it, it's covered. Leg cramps, menstrual cramps, backaches, whatever it is. It has to be chronic of 60 days or more. Severe nausea, seizures including epilepsy, HIV, Hep C, ALS, Crohn's disease, agitation of Alzheimer's and dementia, cachexia, wasting syndrome, severe and persistent muscle spasms, including multiple sclerosis. You're also eligible for a medical cannabis card if you suffer from a condition, even though you didn't hear it here. If you suffer from a medical condition that's causing any of the conditions that I just listed. So if you've got, I don't know, Tourette's, autism, Asperger's, funky blue fly syndrome, I don't know, whatever you got, you can get it covered if it causes one of those things.
If you suffer from one of these medical conditions and have been diagnosed by an Arizona licensed physician, medical cannabis may help relieve your symptoms. Tumbleweeds Health Center is Arizona's premier cannabis certification, health, and education center. Our primary focus is to help the patients of Arizona obtain their medical marijuana card and educate everyone about medical cannabis. With current medical records, approval is a simple process. Contact Tumbleweeds Health Center to see if you qualify for your Arizona medical marijuana card. If you suffer from
Nope. Quiet down, little lady. Give us a call, 520-838-4430. you can come on down to 6224 East Speedway Boulevard and get certified. You don't even have to come down. If you check out our telemedicine section, you can get certified from the comfort of your own home, facility, car, bus, wherever you happen to be. All right, let's see. What is going on? Let's see what's happening. Montana rejects zero tolerance DUI bill that would jail unimpaired young drivers. What is that? Unimpaired? Why? Montana lawmakers are fast tracking a deeply flawed bill. I'd say so. SB 508 that would impose zero tolerance DUI penalties, including mandatory jail time for drivers under 21 who are completely sober. What? Oh, my word. Hi, Scout. SB 508 has already passed the Senate 42-7 and is moving quickly. If you live in Montana, lawmakers need to hear from you now. SB 508, introduced by Willis Curdy, creates an extreme standard for drivers 21 and under, making it a DUI offense to have any detectable THC or certain metabolites in their system. Montana currently sets a threshold of 5 nanograms per milliliter for THC-related DUIs, which is already unscientific and likely to ensnare sober drivers. But SB 508 goes even further and removes any such limit for young drivers. Hi, Bean. Come say hi to Silver Sister. Since THC and metabolites can remain in the bloodstream and urine long after its effects have worn off, this approach would criminalize and incarcerate young Montanans who are completely unimpaired. The bill does not improve road safety. It acts as a backdoor penalty for underage cannabis use, despite Montana already increasing penalties for minor possession under SB 132. If lawmakers want to address underage, they should do so transparently. Well, that's crazy. You can have, well, we knew that was going to come somewhere down the line for some state, that it didn't matter what, how many THC bits you got in your system, they're going to get you. Let's see here. What else do we have going on in the world? We're going to go to Cannabis Business Times. Okay. Minnesota cannabis regulators broke the law when they canceled social equity lottery, judge ruled. No, I don't want to fall behind. The Minnesota Office of Cannabis Management, the OCM, must hold a license pre-approval lottery for 648 social equity applicants hoping to enter the state's forthcoming adult use marketplace, a judge ordered on April 4th. Minnesota's Second Judicial District Court Judge Stephen L. Smith ruled that the Cannabis Regulatory Authority has a legal duty that the law, quote, absolutely requires, quote, and that the OCM broke that duty when it canceled the license approval process in December. The order comes nearly 2 years after Minnesota Governor Tim Walz signed legislation to legalize adult use cannabis in the North Star State on May 30th, 2023. The OCM's initial plan was to launch licensed dispensary sales in early 2025, but that won't be happening. Quote, given the purpose of the statute and the legislature's unambiguous expression of how that purpose shall be realized, the court finds OCM is required to conduct a social equity lottery for the 648 pre-approved applicants, Smith wrote in the April 4th order. It has failed to do that and has expressed publicly that it does not intend to conduct a separate social equity lottery. Well, I think that's not fair. The state's cannabis regulators had intended to conduct the pre-approval lottery on November 26, 2024, to provide the awareness, the advantage of moving forward on securing the investments and real estate needed to launch their cannabis businesses ahead of non-social equity operators. However, the OCM abandoned that plan after Smith ordered a stay the day before the planned lottery. The stay order was related to the OCM disqualifying roughly 2/3 of the 1,817 social equity license applicants for the early lottery. The state's regulators indicated that they rejected, what the heck? Getting messages from people I have no idea. The state regulators indicated they rejected 1,169 applicants for the pre-approval lottery to prevent individuals from gaming the system. Applicants who didn't intend to pursue a legitimate business, but instead wanted to sell off their licenses if awarded, would undermine the intention of an equitable marketplace, according to the OCM. However, some of the disqualified applicants sued the OCM, claiming they were wrongly left out of the office's pre-approved lottery process. Quote, I am a legitimate applicant, not a straw buyer, Christina Arangues, a first-generation Latina entrepreneur, told Minnesota Public Radio in November. When Smith sided with the rejected applicants and stayed the lottery in late November, I don't know what's going on. Sorry, social equity in general was going to, let me start over. Do over. When Smith sided with the rejected applicants and stayed the lottery in late November, the OCM announced 2 weeks later that it canceled the social equity lottery altogether, and it was going to move forward on a standard licensing cycle for all applicants, social equity and general, to avoid further delay in rolling out the adult use program. Under the new plan, the standard social equity lottery was moved to mid-2025. Quote, we remain committed to launching an equitable, sustainable, and responsible cannabis market in Minnesota, former OCM interim director Charlene Briner said at the time. A week later, Briner said she was still optimistic about a 2025 adult use sales launch. A few weeks later, in early January, Briner resigned after indicating that being a cannabis regulator was never her dream job. Eric Tobel, the OCM's general counsel for the previous year, picked up where Briner left off in the interim director role. However, Minnesota still faces potentially the third longest adult use rollout in the nation after Vermont, 1,713 days, and Maine's 1,431 days. On April 4th, Smith ordered an alternative writ of mandamus directing the OCM to immediately conduct the pre-approval lottery per state law because the qualified applicants for the lottery suffered a public wrong as a result of the cancellation. The judge also ruled that there is no adequate legal remedy to address the OCM's failure to perform its legal duty. While Smith found that the OCM required to conduct the social equity lottery for the 648 pre-approved applicants, this ruling directly collides with his stay from November, when his order prevented the OCM from conducting the lottery for the 648 applicants at the expense of the 1,169 rejected applicants. Tobel released a statement about Smith's most recent order on April 6th, as first reported by the Minnesota Star Tribune. Quote, the judge's order allows the Office of Cannabis Management to seek dismissal of the case on an expedited basis, which he intended to do. With the adoption of the rules governing Minnesota's cannabis industry imminent, OCM expects to be able to begin issuing licenses to qualified social equity applicants in a matter of weeks. There are currently more than 1,000 qualified applicants for social equity licenses who are first in line to receive business licenses, and OCM has been clear since November that any delay due to the lottery would prove fatal to the pre-approval process. At this stage, additional litigation and delays serve no one. OCM looks forward to continuing its work to get licenses out the door and launching the market as soon as possible. The OCM opened a license application window for social equity and non-social equity applicants from February 18th to March 14th. The office intends to hold lotteries for those application windows beginning next month. Smith acknowledged in his April 4th order that legislative intent was to, quote, displace the illicit cannabis market with the legitimate one and to provide historically disadvantaged groups with an opportunity to ready their capacity to operate a cannabis-related business, quote. The OCM's pre-approval process was intended to narrow down the qualified social equity applicant pool to 282 awardees, including 100 vertically integrated micro businesses, 25 vertically integrated meso businesses, medium licenses, and 13 cultivator licenses and 38 dispensary licenses, among other permit types. In attempting to provide these awardees a head start through the originally planned pre-approval lottery, in November, the OCM's initial plan was to allow social equity cultivators to begin growing cannabis for the adult use market by the end of 2024. Despite derailing this plan in his November stay, Smith wrote in his April 4th order that foregoing the pre-approval lottery altogether hurts the 648 qualified applicants. Quote, while the social equity lottery offers no guarantees, as discussed above, canceling the lottery effectively casts aside the significant time and investment 648 qualified applicants put into shoring up their capacity to hit the ground running as a licensee, the judge wrote. The legislature vested OCM with the discretion to create a pre-approval process for a reason. It understood that allowing disadvantaged groups to build their capacity early on in the licensee process would enhance their ability to operate a successful business. That advantage is lost if there's no social equity lottery. But my question is, okay, well, that's a different subject. It's a different story. So how do you know who's going to come in and who's going to buy these licenses to resell and make more money? I don't know. So that's a hard thing to do. How do you judge who's doing it appropriately and who isn't? So I don't know. That's a hard one. You kind of you have to figure that there's a lot of black market folks out there that just are buying these dispensaries so that they can resell them for millions and millions and billions of dollars. So I don't know how you're going to filter those folks out. I just don't know. Let's see what else is going on in the world of weed. You're listening to Weedsday Wednesday, everybody. And you can check out tumbleweedshealthcenter.com for more information on how to find the show and how to get certified and all sorts of stuff.
Are chronic conditions holding you back from a happy, healthy life? Get on the right track with Tumbleweeds Health Center. Our CBD products are formulated to fit your health lifestyle.
I would definitely say that CBD has changed my life. I mean, I don't worry about my dog anymore, and I don't worry about sleeping anymore.
Tumbleweeds Health Center, voted #1 health center in Tucson, has created a proprietary number of CBD blends, each designed to promote health and well-being. Let Tumbleweeds Health Center show you how CBD products might help you improve your life the natural way.
Yeah, give us a call, 520-838-4430, and you can come on down to 6224 East Speedway Boulevard, our new location. We are right inside the Good Leaf, and that's our beautiful hemp and CBD store where you can get all your hemp and CBD products the natural way. All right, what else is going on in the world of weed? Let's check it out. Let's look. I'm trying to find a good story here. I should have probably found them before I went on air, but oh well. Here we go. Virginia governor vetoes marijuana bills. Another chance at legalization for Florida this legislative session. Let's see what they have to say. They've been struggling for a long time to get fully legalized. A solid majority of Florida voters, which is 55.9%, cast their ballots for cannabis legalization in November. While this wasn't enough to pass Amendment 3, it shows most Floridians support ending cannabis prohibition. If you live in Florida, ask your state legislator to turn the people's will into law and legalize cannabis. Much opposition to legalization focused on Amendment 3's supposed lack of guardrails on public consumption and the absence of home grow. A Republican-sponsored legalization bill, H.O. 555, would address both concerns. Florida remains one of the 19 states where a single joint can land you in jail. It's past time Florida ended its archaic approach to cannabis policy. H.O. 555, sponsored by Rep. Alex Andrade, would allow adults 21 and older to possess up to 2 ounces of cannabis while prohibiting marijuana use in any public space. Adults 21 and older could cultivate 2 plants at home and out of public view for personal use. It also expands the existing medical cannabis program by increasing the possession limit. Here's where the problem goes awry. Right here, you're asking for too many things. Waiving fees for honorably discharged vets, you just blew it again, and allowing any patient with a condition that requires an opioid prescription to be recommended medical marijuana for relief. There are also 2 other legalization bills, H1 501 and S1 390, which include similar frameworks for legalization without home cultivation. But the minute you start asking for too much, folks, they're just going to deny it. Just stick to 1 or 2 things and call it a day, because it's just too complex, too convoluted, and I don't know why, but it's just too upsetting. All right. Marijuana Policy Project releases a voter guide to 2024. Well, that's old. Oh, that's old. Why are all these old articles up? I don't understand. Get some new articles. High tariffs are hurting the cannabis sector with little relief in sight. Well, we knew it was going to affect weed somehow. As President Donald Trump rolls out more reciprocal tariffs amid an already scrutinized economic environment brimming with earlier tariffs imposed on both Canada and Chinese imports, the cannabis industry is anxiously watching its costs rise. But some companies have been proactive in trying to stem the bleeding. On April 2nd at the White House Rose Garden, Trump announced 34% in reciprocal tariffs on China, one of the major countries supplying the cannabis industry with raw materials. This additional rate brings China's total tariffs to 54%. He also plans to establish universal baseline tariff of 10% that will apply to all countries, in addition to figures already announced. On April 4th, China hit back, announcing it would impose a 34% tariff on U.S. product imports beginning April 10th. That's tomorrow, kids. Kevin Kuth, Chief Cultivation and Production Officer at Lumi Cannabis in Michigan, has seen how the trade war has stalled the cannabis economy, mainly due to tariffs imposed on Chinese imports. Quote, "We're starting to face a 2 or 3 cent increase per vape. Per vape unit we sell to consumers. And we go through hundreds of thousands a month. So it can add up," he says. Thankfully, Lumi's supply chain began working to foresee these price increases back in September, even though a new administration had yet to be announced. We predicted that a new presidency would would lead to some trade issues. So we bought as many units as possible before the tariffs came into effect. He adds how Michigan's competitive cannabis market doesn't afford Lumi the flexibility to increase prices for consumers. And he doesn't estimate any price bump in the near future rippling down to end users. Michigan's average adult use flower price at retail dipped to an all-time low of $65.21 an ounce in February, according to the Cannabis Regulatory Agency. Holy crap. $65 an ounce. We used to pay almost $400 an ounce. Of course, that was street prices. On the cultivation side, a major expense has been nutrient salts, which Kuth says many of his competitors source from China. But for years, Lumi has bought these salts from Israel, which now faces a 17% tariff rate, according to Trump's April 2nd announcement. Still, It's far less than the tariff increase imposed on China. Other cannabis companies aren't so lucky. Albany, New York based Jaunty, which offers vape carts and gummies, has seen its hardware inputs costs skyrocket due to the tariffs affecting China's imports. Quote, we're at a 46% rate for our vape hardware coming out of China, and we're already at 36%. We can figure out packaging, but with vape hardware, there really is no supply chain in the US at a scale for that kind of product. There has been some buzz around vape manufacturers sourcing materials in countries outside of China, but Guarino says that isn't realistic. Right now, there isn't a top supplier setting up a factory headquarters in, say, Indonesia or Malaysia, but maybe that's a long-term plan, he says. But it appears importing from those countries will be a headache too. On April 2nd, Trump slapped Indonesia with reciprocal tariffs at a rate of 32% and Malaysia with a rate of 24%. Kuth echoes Guarina by adding how the cannabis sector will have to transition to new prices if the trade war stretches into 2027. So much so, they'll have to shift their supply chain from all angles and find different manufacturers in different countries who offer lowest cost and maintain the highest quality of what's needed. Searching for those manufacturers is already happening now. Well, folks, I have a feeling that this whole tariff thing is going to affect everybody it already has everybody, every little level, every product. So we're going to have to start getting these things made in America. I'm not sure how that's supposed to happen, but it is. And well, that's about it. We just got to get some America-made things. We're going to have to start our own America-made companies. But that's about it for Weedsday Wednesday for this week. Sorry about the late start, folks. I don't know even who to blame for that. But you'll see us next week, hopefully on time. I even started the show 5 minutes early, and then it was saying, can't do it. So, Belle Star, Silver Sister here, Cannabis Kid is somewhere. Remember, 260 days until Christmas, 261 until it's over. As always, be smart, be safe, and educate. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next week. Well, we'll listen to you next week, and have a good one. Be kind. Do 421 days of kindness or something like that. I don't know. 420's coming. Get your weed ready, and we'll see you next week. Smoke a bong for me. Open hour. Hope the boss is gone. That's a dumb arrow. That's not even an arrow. It should be. Yeah. Anyway, happy Weedsday Wednesday. Take it easy. Shuck and jive, y'all. Shuck and jive.
If you suffer from one of these medical conditions and